So this is for the same joint area that, and with buddy tape, unless they're really going into play, I probably wouldn't need to spray because that's gonna pretty much stay anchored. Okay, so let's say that they have either subluxed, a contusion, something has happened to the supporting collateral ligaments of the finger, okay? And so generally it's this middle guy. Sometimes it can be the distal, but usually it's this. Again, they take something and then this either buckles down or it buckles up or it fully dislocates. And in which case you would traction and it would relocate if it didn't relocate on its own. But let's just say something has happened to the collaterals here and you could buddy tape and call it a day. But as that person's coming back into play, if they don't want a buddy tape or they need the rest of their fingers, that you just tape to this joint for support. Okay, so there's a really nice way. For this I would spray, but what I would do is I would spray a cotton tip, like the Q-tip, and I would paint. Or I would use those vials and I would break my vial and just paint it on. So it's very contained to the area that I need. We're gonna go a little below. And we're gonna try to use the least amount of tape possible because athletes who use their hands don't love a lot of tape on their hand because they complain that they can't feel the ball, the racket, whatever is in their hand. Okay, so now you saw us go into halves, you've seen us go into thirds, now we're gonna go into fourths. I'm gonna do the edges. Okay, I like this sharp edge on one side. I don't like that little fold. So again, we have to anchor. Okay. The key to the anchoring here, you want to be sure that you're gonna come back over this, but we want these edges, we don't want where the finger can take, rip it. All right, so now we're gonna build our X. There's a collateral ligament. Okay, so now we're blocking that. And then here's one on the medial side. So I'm just drawing my X. Okay. All right, so now we re-anchor. Yeah, gives new meaning. Flip the bird. Okay, so I took the quarter piece, I took the edge. I'm gonna try to go from the top. And I'm gonna stop at the top. I don't need any more than that. And then lastly, I'm taking this edge starting at the top and I'm gonna finish just around and they're ready to go. Now I could close this just to make sure we are locked in. but this could be, you know, your goalkeeper, right? That took the ball, hurt the finger, but you can't buddy tape a goalkeeper because of their gloves. So you have your option, okay? And we're done. So really simple. Now what you didn't see last week, remember from your lecture, we did you saw the stabilization for the elbow? That's the same concept. So it was in your lecture notes. So when you go back for studying purposes, on your arm, yeah. So what we do here for elbow stabilization, right? If we know we've got the UCL that's the problem, we would take, just like we did here, probably for her I would use the 2-inch, but it was gonna look something like this. Sans that little wrinkle. Okay, but there were other pieces to this, but I'm just showing you how do you stabilize a joint. You go across it like an X, okay? You could do this in the knee. You have an MCL, grade 1 sprain that's just happened on the soccer field. They come off, they're gonna go back in. You need to protect them. So this same concept goes for the knee. Do you remember your plantar flex and dorsiflex assist? You put light plast, those are your anchors. You put this piece, you put this piece. Then you could put another layer, right through here, right over. Remember, you would have put light plast first because these have to anchor to something. But this is the knee. It's the same joint.
Would it go medial, like if it's the MCO?
You would do it medially.
Yeah.
If it was the LCL, you would do it laterally. Right? So you're trying to like really stabilize the joint. This is the same thing as this, just on a much smaller scale. Okay? And then to finish, we would have put pre-wrap and then light plast the edges and they go back in. That was all in your lecture. We're not gonna put that one on your practical because we're not really covering it, but I just want you to see how do you stabilize a joint. You go across it to stabilize it. That's what we did here, that's what we can do here, and that's what we can do here. Okay? I think in previous years,